From the Bahamas National Sports Hall of Fame, the name Glenroy Flo Saunders is synonymous with athletic versatility in the annals of sports in the Bahamas. He has excelled in pool, bowling, baseball, softball, and golf. Throughout multiple decades as one of the nation's sporting icons, Saunders followed the doctrine of the legendary American football coach Vince Lombardi, who advanced the theory that the difference between a champion athlete and others of lesser ilk is not the lack of talent, strength, or knowledge, but the lack of internal fortitude. That mindset resulted in Saunders being a standout performer no matter the sport's discipline. In the early 1960s, it became apparent that the sport of pool was Saunders' greatest love. This was further evidenced by the passion he demonstrated and the amount of time invested in training, particularly in the Miami circuits. As a result of the competitive interaction with the Florida sharpshooters, Saunders built both his reputation and honed his skills, resulting in insurmountable victories upon his return home. In 1965, Saunders won the Gold Star Bahamas Pool Championship. Over the years, he had strong rivalries with such notables as Craig Lizzie Flowers, Kenneth Lefty Bullard, and Donnie the Chinaman Lee. However, since that major triumph in 1965, he is still considered one of the best at the game of pool in the country. In the sport of bowling, Saunders exploded on the scene during the 1970s. Developed into one of the country's most exciting players. By virtue of his prowess in the sport, Saunders inherited the name the Boomer. In 1979, at the Sea Surf Lanes in Freeport, Saunders rolled the first perfect 300 game in Bahamian tournament play. He bowled 16 consecutive strikes. In 1981, at the age of 38, at the Bowling World Cup in Madison Square Garden, Saunders competed against the best of 41 countries. He was a top qualifier after 24 games and went on to capture a bronze medal for the Bahamas. He considers that World Cup participation his most memorable in bowling.
A 300 game, a perfect game. See here, every block you see is a strike. All that is strikes. Okay. You see everybody else get the slash and thing in it. That means it's a spare.
Wow. So can I have your first and last name, please?
Glenroy Saunders.
Mr. Glenroy Saunders, what year were you born?
1943.
And where were you born, Mr. Saunders?
It's somewhere on East Street.
Okay, East Street, Nassau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Who were your parents?
Joan Saunders was my father, and Corinne Saunders my mother.
Were your parents from the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Was it Nassau or?
Andros, my old man was from Andros, and my mom was from Nassau.
Okay. Did you know your grandparents on both sides? Neither one?
No, I knew about them, but that's about it.
Okay, so you never actually met them.
No.
So where did you actually grow up?
East. No, I grew up. First of all, we started out in Hardings Lane, which is the corner at the bottom of East Street Hill.
Okay.
Okay, we grew up through there because we had some generation property through there, and I spent a lot of my years. I went to school from there, Western Junior and Western Senior.
Okay.
And then we moved from there. After a while, we went to Fort Finn Castle, which is right across the street.
Right.
We spent some time there. If I can remember correctly, later on we went to near the Windsor Park down here. We were moving around, but you know, that's what you do.
Okay.
You gotta follow mama.
Right. So where you are now in Fritz Lane, when did that happen?
years ago now.
Okay.
I bought this place when I was with Spotless Cleaners,
Okay.
and decided to fix it up, and then I opened a couple of businesses here, put on another piece, and here we are. And like I say, I grew up on Fort Fincastle, around the Fort Hill, and what they used to call the Crazy Hill. That's 66 steps.
Right.
We grew up around that area. That's where I learned to play baseball. The best all-around sportsman in the history of the Bahamas.
You look like a sports person. I came up those stairs and I could barely make it.
I'm serious. I have a lot of proof, and you realize I was the best amateur bowler in the Caribbean.
Oh, wow.
In the Caribbean. Okay? Not in the world, in the Caribbean. I ended up coming third in the world. I was number one qualifier in 1981, I think it was.
Interesting.
In Madison Square Gardens.
Wow.
I have a history behind me. I won the first game we ever won, baseball game we ever won in Wichita, Kansas. We went there 2 years before. No won a game. I won the first game we ever won in the 11th inning. Okay? In extra innings. Rather than Bobby Fernandez from first base to home, and we won the game. We didn't even sleep that night. Okay.
Well, congratulations on that. You sound like you made the Bahamas proud.
I don't know. I won the first All Bahamas pool tournament. I'm the champion.
Excellent.
I represented the country all around the world. I represented golf. I played amateur and pro golf in the Bahamas.
As a unique and gifted baseball player, Saunders achieved senior level in the Bahamas Baseball Association. During his early teens, he competed with luminaries such as Donnie Captain Blood Lockhart and Sonny Jiggy Haven. He became an all-star performer and reached a high point when he contributed to the success of the Bahamas national team at the Baseball Congress in Wichita, Kansas. A softball player of almost 50 years, Saunders' competitive record is equally as consistent in the New Providence Old Timers Softball League and is a constant on the All-Star list. In the sport of golf, Saunders, though considered by many a late arrival, nevertheless hit the links in a serious way in the 1970s. His tenacity and commitment enabled him to excel quickly. He won a Most Improved Golfer Award and went on to represent the Bahamas at the prestigious regional annual classic, the Harmon Cup, on several occasions as an amateur. As a pro golfer, he competed at the Dunhill Cup in Singapore in Asia. In an interview with senior sports reporter Brent Stubbs, Saunders said that he would like to see the sport of bowling rekindled with more of the young, vibrant competitors getting involved. He said he would be willing to assist in whatever way he could to help improve the standard. But he will always cherish the moments he had when he was the top bowler in the country and one of the best amateurs in the world. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us."